Good afternoon, people. Finally getting to the cab on the 86 Dodge Ram W250 from California. As we know, it had a top section, which a lot of the Dodges have, where the water gets underneath the drip rail and it rots out a section of the top of the cab. What I was doing was building pieces to put in there, and that's fine and dandy, but I was at the junkyard and I came across a really nice cab that was a plow truck, and it was a Prospector. I think it was an 84. Mine's an 86, and it must have been garage kept because the upper part of the cab was in really nice shape, and we're going to give you a walk around and show you. But I wound up 86 in the pieces I was building, even though they were turning out pretty good. When you can go with OEM, always try to patch it in with OEM good stuff. So let's do a little walk around and see exactly what we've got. I know a lot of you have been looking forward to this cab repair, so here we go. So here's the situation, what we have here. And what I did was I've got this this step tool that I was talking to you about, and you can see it there. It puts a little offset step in the metal. And what I did was, on the edges here, be underneath, I've got about a 1/2 inch to 3/8 to 1/2 inch piece underneath here. And as you can see, these are going to get plug welded. Okay, these will get spot welded, and then what I'll do is I'll wind up going along and stitching this until this metal is all the way seamed. That's the right way to do it. Now, underneath here, what I'll do is I'll pull this apart. Underneath here, you're going to see okay, you can see the situation that we have here, what we have. You can see this little step right here, and right here is the seam of the cab. So what I did was I just bent that piece with this tool I've got right along that seam. I went ahead and dressed it up. I put a little, there was some real fine rust behind here, so what I did is I went ahead, and it's still really solid, and I just coated it with the rust inhibitor, which changes it over. But as you can see, that's the situation right there, people. And all these holes right here, these are where they're gonna go ahead and get put back into the drip rail. Now, I had an old drip rail, and it was in 3 pieces, and I was gonna have to really piece that together. And here's the situation. I wound up getting one. It's a really good piece here, and this come from the top part of that cab. As you can see, I mean, don't let this darkness fool you. This has all been sanded, and I sprayed that rust converter on it. But it's a really solid piece. You can see the whole drip rail's actually in really good shape. Okay, again, all these holes are, you have to use a, it's a rivet, or not a rivet, it's a weld, like for a pinch weld. When they weld these down, it's a cutter. It cuts out just the spot welds. But here you go. This is going to go in here like that, and then this goes up in there. And as you can see, I'll clamp that down. And this is a zinc primer. It's a weld through primer. And as you can see, this has all been pour 15'd. I've sanded this, and this is all pour 15. This will never rust again. And when I'm all said and done, I'm going to come through the back of the cab with the wand, and I'm going to come right up in here, and I'm going to spray after I get this all in. I'm going to go ahead and this is all going to have weld through primer on it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray fluid film all up in there. And then the real situation is, when you're all done, you have to come under here and you have to put a really good urethane sealer and make sure, because what happens is the moisture gets underneath this window gasket. There's a big window gasket. The moisture gets underneath there, and it comes up underneath, and that's what rots everything out. But you, the DIYer, do not have to fret, because we're going to have this Dodge back in shape. And I don't know if you can see that, but I really think we're going to have a good situation here. And once that's all, this is a tedious process, people. I mean, I'm doing it right. I'm taking my time. But once that's all laid up in there, you can see this is all really good steel. And once that's all up in there, we're going to go ahead and get this top piece put back on. Now on the back, you say, how are you going to weld this? Well, through here, we're going to go through the top, and we're going to weld a couple spots here. Some plug welds, which is going to hold the center of it. But on the back side here underneath, what we're going to do is we're going to use that, it's like a body panel adhesive on both sides. And as you can see, we're going to come around here with the body panel adhesive. It's only got to secure it about 18 inches here and about 6 inches here. And then as you can see, all these are plug welds to the drip rail. So we have that. These two sides will just have the it's like a body panel adhesive. And if you know anything about that body panel adhesive, a lot of times they've done tests on that. You'll shred the metal before you break that seal. But then what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a good sealer all the way along that body line. But here's the situation. This is the piece I just cut it here at the A-pillars, and I cut it right across. But this is the piece I had to rebuild last year, if you remember right. This actually in good shape. And don't let that fool you. I can sandblast that and get that right down to good. But what you want to look at is these are spot welds here to the cab. I'm going to go ahead and save this piece, because in case someone ever needs this upper piece, I'll be able to help them out. But that's the situation, people. If you can remember right, I actually patched mine and made mine. You can see here where I did some welds to it, and I've got it all welded across here. I've got it all seam welded here on this pinch weld. I've just got to do a few here on the corners around. That's why I've got it clamped. But that's the update on the 86 Dodge Ram cab now. And you can see it's really, really solid. I made a little template there out of that cardboard, but the air box has all been gone through and all been rebuilt. So, but here's what we're going to put that body panel adhesive right here, just up and around. And I'm going to reach to the light assembly, and I'm going to actually either rivet that or tack weld that right in there. But that's the Dodge, and we're looking forward to getting this baby back together. I'm taking advantage of this nice weather, and we're going to get this right. But yeah, I thought maybe you'd like that update, so we're getting to it. And here's the other situation you want to think about when you're putting these together and you're welding this metal. Now this is like an 18 gauge steel, right? Do not use 30 thousandths or 35 thousandths wire on your MIG welder. Get you some good gas and neck it down to the 24 or 25 thousandths wire, and then you can really turn it down. When you're doing thinner metals and you're not welding 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch steel plate, when you're doing this thin stuff, turn it right down to 1, and turn your speed up. Like on mine, I turn it up to I was welding some heavier stuff, but I put it on 1, and I put it right on about 38, and that's the setting for the Hobart 190 handler. But, oh, here's the other upgrade I want to show you we got for the shop. Let me get these over here. Okay, now I've been welding, like I said, last couple days I've been doing some welding, and the situation is this was a $30 or $35 Lincoln helmet that I bought years ago. The problem of it is these little dials right here. Okay, it's not an auto helmet, which I don't care about that because I can flip the helmet down, but these here are really tricky, and it's either comes down and slams you in the chest, or it doesn't want to come down when you want. So what I did is I turned around and spent I had a coupon for Tractor Supply. They gave me $10 off because this is my birthday month. But look what I picked up. Yeah, buddy, this is a really, really nice helmet. And it's got actually in here, it's got a little feature for where are we at? Right here, for when you're grinding. You can flip that down to grind. But I don't know if you can see it. That's a beautiful helmet. It's got really some good settings up there. And this one here, when you flip it down, it comes down real gentle and nice and consistent every time. But so we upgraded to a better helmet. But yeah, that's the situation, people. And as soon as I get this welded up, we'll give you a little update on how it looks. And then all we'll have to do is do a little bit of body filler to it, just enough to dress it up, and go ahead and put this. We'll put this cab in epoxy primer. Now, here's the other thing I picked up at the junkyard. I have one of these, all the moldings for my truck, but it's got a dent in it, so I figured I'd grab that. That was $3. And what else did I get? I got a just because these are hard to find, I got an AC heater assembly. Again, that was $8. And then I've got a door that's got just a little bit of damage at the top. So what I did was I took this piece here, okay, because what my door is, the guy that had the truck, he actually backed it up and with the door open, and he bent the door. So I've got the door pounded back and it closes and everything, but right in here, all this is kind of crushed in a little bit, which no one would see it, I guess. You could just put body filler on it, but I think I'm gonna fix it correctly, and we'll find a destination on here where we can cut them equally, and then I'll go around, grind it back, and put this baby on the on a nice weld around it, and we'll have a nice little upper piece of that door, because boy, them doors are getting hard to find. The OEM ones are the ones you want, and this is an OEM door. So again, this came off a Prospector 84. So all right, people, that's the update, and as soon as I get this welded up, I must put another video out, and stay tuned, because it's coming along. All right, this is Bry. I'm out. Mopar, baby.